hey, I just met you, and this is crazy, but can I stay with you for the next 60 years here on Feature Please, a Vile Visit to Bajor? My name is Joseph.
I'm your incredibly permissive boss who is in the middle of staring down the barrel of a big-ass war, but I'm going to be real swell about letting my top officers go on sabbatical for said 60 years. I'm your co-host, Peter.
Peter, I think we need to dispose of this as quickly as possible. What episode of Star Trek did we watch this week?
Season 3, Episode 8, Meridian. Meridian is first aired November 14th, 1994. Teleplayed by Mark Gred O'Connell. Story by Hilary J. Bader and Evan Carlos Summers. Fortunately, directed by Jonathan Frakes, which some pretty tricky camera deals going on in this one. I would say we don't get the classic Frakes shot, but the directorial style, the camera style, really does bleed through.
I don't fault Jonathan Frakes for anything that happened in here. I am going to quote the Memory Alpha here briefly as it relates to this episode, because I think if you are going to hear any, specific line about it, I think this sums up my feelings. This is from Hilary J. Bader, one of the story authors. Of all the stories I've done for Star Trek, Meridian is my least favorite. There it is. Nothing feels more like, hey, we found a TNG script left over in the junk drawer. Can we go shoot this real quick? Quite like this fucking episode. This is a standard Troi / Crusher TNG episode if I had ever seen one. As for the A plot, with only the B plot potentially saving the watching experience from being very forgettable and boring.
I'm through all of it. If this is as bad as DS9 is going to get this season, not too bad.
We got to keep things in perspective. This was not turgid or terrible.
No.
I would not even rate this as bad. This is a meh, I think, on your scale.
This is meh for DS9. And if this was season 2 of Enterprise or season 6 of Voyager, boy, it's a pretty good episode. What cool fringe science fiction.
Yeah, well, that B plot helps, right? Like, the B plot is a fun time.
The B plot is a fun time, especially because the B plot brings with it Jeffery Combs, which I was not expecting.
Yeah, we'll get to Jeff here in a second. This is actually chronologically his first Star Trek appearance. So, we have been spoiled for the fact we're not doing this in chronological order. We ran into Jeff briefly in Voyager,
really?
in the Rock episode, and then in Enterprise, obviously, he plays Shran. But he was not on TNG. This is his first DS9 episode. He is ultimately in like 40 plus episodes of DS9 as different characters. And this is his first outing. So there's a little bit of interesting information about how he had never been on Trek before, and he had all this makeup on, and it was an interesting experience, and it was his first time.
Watching him portray the character felt like he was not hamming it up, but really felt comfortable in what he was doing, was acting with a confidence that felt to me like a guy who has been on the set a bunch. So hearing that this is his first role, and again, I mean, this guy's a movie star, right?
Yeah, he was.
So we did do Reanimator, which was fucking dope. I don't remember how big Reanimator was, or if it was just kind of like B culty
it was
stuff.
A cult classic, but it did get some penetration in its day. I mean, it wasn't a huge hit, but people knew who Jeffery Combs was probably in the industry because of it.
Yeah. So it's not like he's doing huge red carpet events, I don't think. But I think there'd be enough confidence there, like, yeah, I'll go do fucking Star Trek and not be conservative, and I'm just going to go and fucking big dick this thing.
He's used to doing science fiction with shit on his face. Like, that's not uncommon to him. So I can see feeling very secure and confident in his performance because of that.
Well, look, man, if you are the showrunners and you see this guy come in and just absolutely nail this goofy side piece, like, I wonder if they had him on, like, if they were eyeing him for bigger stuff and like, let's get him in here and just see what he does with something minor to like, kind of vet him, or if he came in completely cold in everybody's thoughts and they're like, hey, what's this guy doing for like the next potentially 40 episodes.
Yeah,
How much can we
he plays
possibly get him in
two
here?
different recurring characters. That's what's crazy on DS9. Two completely different. It's not like different versions of Wayoon or something like that. No, he plays Wayoon and he plays Liquidator Brunt, a Ferengi, and both of them have many appearances. So he's so good. He plays two fucking characters.
He deserves them. I wonder if, like, in Hollywood, it's hard. Like, I don't know, the people who would occupy this talent pool, if it was just really dry and they got him, like, okay, this guy's great. We normally would like to have a bigger stable, but just hang on to this guy because everybody else is sick.
Well, you got to remember that science fiction, particularly in this era, was not considered highbrow things to do. It wasn't considered a big career lift. Being on Trek was sort of, you're stuck in this world now where you got all these weird, sweaty nerds who are going to obsess over everything you do. I mean, it only pays the same as every other union gig. So it's not something that most people sought out as a career opportunity. It certainly could be lucrative. It could certainly help your career. I don't think anyone who's been on Trek would say that it wasn't a good experience for them to become more famous. But
again, they just had Franklin Gala. So as we're sitting here saying, like,
DS9 is definitely built different. Yeah. And when you think about the careers of the people after this, Terry Farrell ended up being on a major network sitcom. Sidi Al-Faisal has a real career. Like, that man does movies. He is a movie star. He, I think, is a combination of talent, and he has the perfect ethnic background to play random Arab coded guy in things.
He does, yes.
And so he has just managed to pull that string for his entire career. Rene Abajeros is somebody that had a big career even before getting to Trek, and this is kind of the last big thing he did, but he did other things after. And guys like Armin Shimmerman, maybe they never quite had big careers after this, but they weren't necessarily looking to have them. Avery Brooks kind of went a little crazy, but whatever, he was already crazy. This show had a lot of success.
Armin got to do BioShock. I mean, that's a big get.
It's actually voice acting work is
I know
how a lot of these guys continued their careers.
Well, they're built for it.
They are built for it. So anyway, before we lavish too much praise on Jeff Combs and his first appearance, this just does feel like a TNG script that didn't get finished, and they wound up retrofitting the A plot by okay, let's have a quick line about the Dominion and the Jem'Hadar. Okay, now we're going to explore a weird planet, right? Like, just
the entire premise of this is so cockamamie, especially for season 3, right as we are all starting to collectively tense our buttholes for the Dominion invasion.
Right.
Hey,
the plot is showing up. Things are happening. Quick, let's have an interlude where we're exploring the Gamma Quadrant for no particular reason.
That's a fucking intro with Sisko's like, we all know that the Dominion War is coming, but I have told Starfleet it's imperative that we continue to explore. What? There is angry ghosts in the basement, all right? Did someone say there's a petting zoo in the Gamma Quadrant? No, it's the middle of Dominion space, and they have just fucked everybody up.
Yeah.
That you have
hey, when you go back into the Gamma Quadrant, try to avoid all of the debris from the Odyssey that's still there.
Yeah. So what I'm doing is I'm taking all of my top management, I'm putting them into a starship that is very specifically not a space exploration vehicle. This is a attack gunship.
No science happens on this station.
There's no science bays. We have replaced the sensors with more guns.
Let's go explore.
What just happened last episode, real quick? Let me flip back a page here.
That was the civil defense. That was when the station tried to kill everybody.
So what I'm hearing is people are scared to be there. After the replicator started making attack turrets and that guy got vaporized, no one feels real good about working. So this is like a big class field trip for Sisko to try and get everybody to forget about this. And you put them all on your gunship and you fly off into the danger zone of the Gamma Quadrant to go do science while God knows who is in charge back at Deep Space Nine, minus the attack gunship you put there to protect the wormhole.
Well, it's Kira and Odo. They're the ones in charge of Deep Space Nine. They were too busy dealing with Quark trying to make pornography to really worry too much about station management. But
yeah, if they're going to go explore, we can go vice cop.
Yeah, just it is a not the right premise for season 3 of Deep Space Nine. It's not the right kind of story to try and tell right now. And it just Jadzia is Troi, right? Like this is a Troi plot, and they give it to Jadzia instead.
Let me further shit on this entire premise too. And I understand that the Defiant is not a spaceship. The Defiant is a set that is easier to film on and make the production crew's life easier, right?
Yes, right.
But had they sent runabouts out, right, or a runabout with these people to explore, like, not only is it more feasible in that you've got this thing that's way more expendable than the Defiant, which isn't even flying around cloaked, by the way. But when you get to Dilemma Planet, it removes the ability of, oh my God, you guys are essentially going to phase out of existence after this quantum leap or whatever the fuck's going on over there. How about this? You guys don't live here. Like, you're a crashed expedition. Why don't you guys just all come up to my ship and you can go home?
Yet that never gets mentioned as a solution. Not once.
Not mentioned at all. I'm thinking, well, maybe if they leave
possible.
the planet.
It's actually completely possible for them to all just leave. We establish that is possible, and no one suggests it.
Just doesn't dawn on them. Now, had you had a runabout, you could be like, all right, well, there's only 30 of us on this colony, which, by the way, let's talk about how quickly inbreeding is going to become a fucking problem here. You guys got bigger problems than your tachyon matrices falling apart and becoming pure thought.
I think they need 20,000. You need 20,000 people to create.
We've done the math back on the Johnstown episode. It's sure as fucking 30.
Yes.
30 is how you start having people born with 12 fingers on one hand.
Yes.
Okay. But yeah, I can't fit all you guys on my runabout. I can fit you all on the Defiant. Frakes' directorial style, the soft shots, and there's a lot of like foreground shit. I noticed, like, here's a long shot of us walking on a beautiful Southern California state park or some sort of corporate lake.
Yes. It looks like the lake outside the Raytheon building in DC, which I used to live next to.
I'm sure the weather's nowhere near as nice as what these guys are doing.
Not. No, they make missiles, but they can't control the weather.
Yeah. So they're like recording these like far shots, and there's like reeds or trees or something moving. Like, you know, people are peeking. It's real early 80s romance, soft, like made for like soap opera. It feels very soap opera.
Yeah, it does.
The music selection feels very early TNG soap opera-y. So yeah, this is absolutely some TNG made by TNG for, I don't know what the TNG audience like.
Yeah, kind of. I kind of got that impression I was watching. It's like I feel like this is a sort of bone to throw to the TNG fans, because TNG's off the air now. If you're watching Star Trek in an episodic fashion, right now DS9 is literally your only choice. Voyager is coming soon, shockingly soon, but it's not here yet. And because of that, well, we got to keep that audience engaged. We want to keep them around. We got to feed them something.
I want to talk to our audience and our female listener base. Like, where are you guys at on DS9? Voyager, when we started with Voyager, we had a much higher female listener base because, again, the feminine voice was, this is our working theories, that the feminine voice was really expressed well, or at least expressed
Janeway as a
all.
captain, as a woman, like that brought in a lot of women to watch Star Trek maybe even for the first time because of that.
I wonder if this episode's kind of a test of like, can we grow this viewership? Are we, is there a portion of the TNG audience that is refusing to latch on to DS9 because it's too gritty?
It's too male coded. Not because it's exploitive of women, but because it's stories about war, death, and suffering. We've had that discussion as it relates to Enterprise, right? Like, that show, like when it got good, it kind of just started to lean into doing military style storytelling, right? And that's good for the people that can identify with that. That's mostly going to be men.
Yeah, well, they also burned off, I think, all credibility with the female audience and a lot of the male audience with that fucking decon scene, man. Like, again,
Right.
right off the jump, episode 1, you're in there smearing glitter grease all over each other's ass and tits. Like,
okay, got it. See what you're about.
goodbye.
Understood.
Everybody who stopped watching right there, you did the right thing.
You did. Had that discussion with my cousin actually about like how incredibly cringe it is when you really think about how blatant that they were. It's like nothing clever about this.
Nope.
There's nothing interesting about this. This is just you putting tits and ass on the screen because you want to titillate a 12-year-old, and that's the level of sophistication you gave it. But
Boomer humor, yeah.
I will say, I guess if I'm going to say anything good about the A plot, aside from I feel like the direction was solid. Like again, I can't fault Frakes. I feel like camera stuff, this decision how to put the scenes together, all of that was as good as it could have been done. Terry Farrell's pretty good at just finding a way to find chemistry with whoever she has to make out with this week.
Mr. Oil Money.
She has been called upon to have to be the romantic person in a lot of episodes, and I never want for the idea that Jadzia fucks, right? We've had this discussion. Jadzia fucks. Jadzia likes to fuck. Jadzia is somebody who's very libertine in her personal sexual mores. She makes quite a point of it. And she actually manages to convey that authentically in character, despite the fact it's probably hard as an actor to continue to like, all right, I got to vibe with this guy enough to like convincingly make out with him on screen, right? Like, and I've just met him.
Well, I don't think this guy was too hard to work with because my wife was in the room for this one and she seemed very interested in this guy. She's like Googling him and, oh, he comes from Oil Money. This and that. I'm like,
oh, really? That oil money is a real thing?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Okay, well, that was good that Casey was there. She gave us some insight. Apparently, this guy's that charming, huh?
A strong pedigree of trophy wives. I don't know. Easy on the eyes. Not a bad actor. I mean, nobody does. Like, what was the fucking Delete the Village episode, right? Where everybody was just a terrible Bonanza extra that somehow...
Also featuring Jadzia. Yeah.
You know, here, let me try to fix this fucking A plot and just make it somehow worth our time.
Here we go.
Okay, so now you have a planet you have discovered that has been absent for the past 60 years. All right? These people have just phased back into existence. Coincidentally, as the Defiant's flying through, they get front row seats to Castle Duckula, reemerging from the Phantom Zone or whatever state of pure existence it was in. You've got the snapshot into 60 years ago, right? What a great opportunity to tell a story about the Dominion, fit it into this fucking meta plot that either, oh, we've never heard of the Dominion. How interesting. Now we can kind of chart their travels, that if they haven't reached this place yet, like that they've conquered out this far in 60 years.
Tie it into the meta plot somehow.
Or,
makes sense.
60 years ago, there was a huge civil war and these guys and blah, blah, blah. And the Dominion was just invading, or the Dominion used to be radically different. And I'm so surprised to hear that they've turned into this. Like, there's somehow you could have given me one scene of what did the Dominion look like 60 years ago? Was the Dominion here? Did it feel different? Here's our Dominion story. You know,
give us some intel.
They came. They killed a bunch of people. It was terrible. Here's information on it. And then the planet phased and they all died because they're not a part of us. Oh, that's very interesting. Now we know that normal people who aren't a part of your fucking dodecahedron matrix or whatever can't survive. Jadzia, if you want to be around, we're going to have to engineer a way for you to do this because we know it's a problem. Oh, at the end of the episode, when the planet starts phasing, damn, it looks like our plans didn't work and you're going to have to come back after all.
And I think there's a line here in the Memory Alpha. Are you familiar with Brigadoon, the musical?
No.
This is basically the plot of Brigadoon. It's like magical place that phases in and out of reality.
Knowing that, I have no desire to see Brigadoon based on this Meridian.
And they purposefully decided they wanted to do an episode based on Brigadoon. This was Ira Steven Bear's idea.
Black Mark. F.
Here's the line. Co-executive producer I, Stephen Bear, an admirer of Brigadoon, confessed to originating the idea about making an episode based on the musical. Of his idea to do a Star Trek show based on Brigadoon, Bear said, quote, "I am a moron."
But
All right.
listen, this is them doing their musical episode without
Actual music. Yeah.
singing.
Thank
So you
God.
know what?
Better than Strange New Worlds. We did it.
You pulled it out of that nose drive. It was still a crash landing. You know, you lost all the cargo and the pilots are dead, but some of the people in the back survived versus just nose down mushroom cloud, right?
All right. So
you got the B plot then, which take all the stuff we just said about, hey, maybe we're going to throw a bone to the women.
let's eat it. The B plot is incredibly amusing. So we have Jeffrey Combs showing up as this guy, Tyrion, who is some kind of crime boss, who
Walnut face.
We find out due to a Replomat hangout between Kira and Odo, was hitting on Kira hard at Quark's the night before. And Kira quietly and politely showed no interest, but he is hounding after her to the point where she is approaching them, looking to try and get a date while she's talking to Odo. And they were talking about food and that Odo doesn't have taste buds and didn't know how to eat. So it was kind of an embarrassing circumstance when he tried it for the first time, which kind of makes a lot of sense. Goes back to he's actually a child, doesn't know how to eat food.
Well, real quick, thank God Quark wasn't around for that conversation, because what a way to spot Odo.
Yeah, tell him to eat a sandwich. See what it looks like.
Please help yourself to my complimentary peanuts. Before we continue any deeper.
Mm-hmm. The guy approaches. Kira decides to make a hard bank into saying Odo is her boyfriend in front of the guy to get him to chase him off, which Odo clearly is both shocked by, and you can see the look on his face of, I really like that idea. But Kira doesn't pick up on it. He's planted an idea in Odo that she may have not have intended.
It's Inception.
It is. It's Inception. And this sets up
he turns into the plot, or the top spinning.
This sets off a plot where Tyrion goes to Quark and is saying, listen, I really want Kira, but Kira's got no interest in me. So I want you to make a customized fuck program with Kira in it. If I can't fuck Kira in real life, I want to fuck Kira in your hollow suite, is the plot. And
well deserved, by the way. This is we had a lot of fun in Voyager talking about holodeck policies.
Yes.
I wonder how many people on Voyager made a holographic representation of their wife that they could visit, or their spouse back on Earth.
Can have only been an idea that Tom Paris had for Tuvok, right? Like, that had to have been a relatively common thing to do. And go ahead.
I mean, maybe there was a holographic Hogan in there too, like honoring the dead.
Oh yeah, like you create holographic versions of all the dead crew members, and so you can like visit them and tell them what's going on.
Sure, man.
But
the holodeck represents such a fucking dark opportunity for humanity to just go off the fucking rails. So this very well deserved. But before we get into the meat and potatoes of what's actually good in this, Kira Nerese's reaction to coffee as she replicates it in the Replomat, and that's what really starts the whole, like, Odo's like, well, why did you get it hotter than you want? Like, why not do a couple degrees down? Oh, because coffee, not Rakachino or whatever, or Bajoran piss water.
Yeah.
No,
Rakachino is actually Klingon coffee, by the way.
I know. Point being, it's not Bajoran. There's nothing Bajoran about Bajor, all right? She takes the fucking coffee cup. She does the straight up Folgers commercial where she's holding it with like two hands and like sipping.
Waking up.
She might as well looked over a fucking a misty dawn of a grassy field at a horse farm, or other 80s Folgers commercial bits.
All right, or some sort of strange circumstance with a sister that seems a little too intimate. Yeah.
Yeah. She might as well just been there gushing about Jean-Luc. Too on the nose human. On the nose is the only part of Bajoran that is Bajor. Is the little wrinkle of shit and pass that. These motherfuckers
Yeah.
are
To be
completely indistinguishable.
Bajoran is shit on your nose. A planet that is both incredibly beautiful and war torn hellhole. Unregulated weird magic shit.
Yeah, yeah.
And you have a religion that turns out is true. That your gods are real.
What's the King Arthur movie where Merlin's got the chrome skull cap?
Ooh, it's got to be from the 80s.
Yeah, which one was that?
Excalibur?
Excalibur. Was it Excalibur?
I don't remember. I don't remember the one where he's got a cyborg stuff.
Oh, come on. Well, anyways, I think you could have just put a little bit of shit on people's nose, and that could have been a Bajoran story about crazy magic zaniness and some religious extremism, and other than that, nothing alien. Because now that we've started talking about it, that's all I can see whenever there's something Bajoran going on. So, yeah, she loves coffee. She drinks coffee the 80s American way, and fucking deal with it.
So the B plot continues in Quark, who has no qualms whatsoever, by the way, of this request. So, we've had a lot of pro Quark commentary between the two of us. Quark's a good guy. Quark has a moral code. Quark ultimately does the right thing in a lot of circumstances. It's why he's not very particularly successful, potentially, as a Ferengi sometimes. Apparently, those moral qualms do not extend to creating pornography of someone who's supposed to be one of his friends. At a minimum, someone who's very important to the administration of the space station on which his business resides. And saying, you know what? Yes, I will create a fuck puppet for you in the holosuite of her likeness. I have no problem doing this. So his morality extends only into the flesh space. As far as he's concerned, anything that happens in a holodeck is not real and therefore doesn't count.
It is Excalibur, and Patrick Stewart's in it. So there's our tie-in. That's what we're talking.
You know what? We got to watch. I haven't
don't know,
watched
man. That's
Excalibur
2
since I was
hours.
a kid. It was like one of those movies my dad really likes, and I watched it, and I remember having watched it in some of the visuals, but I must have been like 10 or 11, and I haven't seen it since. That'd be a fun one to revisit. Those like 80s fantasy movies
81, man.
were a different breed. So in any case, that we've got a different Patreon episode we're going to be recording literally after this. So that's going to be in the queue.
Some interesting stuff's happening here. Because this is a civilian conversation, Starfleet does not factor into this at all.
Zero.
Nor does Federation laws and lack thereof. This is unscrupulous people talking to other unscrupulous people at a roadhouse. So it's clever framing because you don't really have to draw into like Federation morality here at all. This isn't should we do this, it's can we do this? And the only limiting factor here is that Quark has been on real fucking thin ice with Kira Nerys before. She has advocated for throwing him out of an airlock more than once.
Yes.
And this guy has had to do some real, again, it's Deep Space Nine, it's good writing, usually. I am willing to indulge myself and say that everything prior to this point actually happened and that all of these characters have recollection of these things, even if they're not specifically calling it out. He has had to do real work at repairing his relationship with Kira Nerys. So if there's anything that's able to get Quark, who has, again, almost been thrown out of airlocks by this woman, if there's anything that's going to convince him into turning her into a into fuckable DLC for the holodeck, if he's willing to go to not Nexus Mod, what's the dirty one? It's Lover's Lab. I think it's Lover's Lab. If he's willing to go there and get that fucking Skyrim pack for Jeff Combs' walnut face, it's a lot of goddamn money. And luckily for this episode, wouldn't you know it, Jeff Combs has a lot of fucking money up his sleeve, like he's Spider-Man. Instead of shooting webs, he's just shooting Latinum out. Like a wizard. He's just like, wow.
So with the power of money, Quark can be bought to do anything. And enough money has been given that Quark doggedly pursues trying to accomplish this. And there's 3 vignettes. There's the first where he tries to con Kira into just going into the Hollow Suite so that he can surreptitiously image her by saying that she's the millionth customer. So gives it like makes a big deal, tries to convince her like, no, this is like a big Ferengi tradition. Here's a bottle of champagne, and hey, go enjoy the Hollow Suite. And she pivots away and saying, "Oh, I'll give that away as a gift. Thanks, Quark. I'm out of here. Thanks
Well,
for
the big thing here is that the Hollow Suites can scan and image anybody who goes in. Or that's what it's required to get a clean read on someone to recreate them holographically, right?
correct."
Which right there, I think that might be a contender for the weakest shit award of the season, is the idea that people are going in and Quark's not just preemptively imaging everybody to have a fucking catalog. And maybe after this, he does start doing that. Because now we're talking Westworld, right?
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise. Well, gosh. Westworld's so good. I hope you guys all watch. Plot twist. Delos, the company putting on Westworld, is paying attention to what everybody is doing and creating blackmail. And also recording their brainwaves so they can essentially clone you or put you into complex mathematical models to predict the future. Absolutely, I think that Quark would just have a database of everybody. And they've been on the holodeck once or twice because like Dax drags her in for like sailboat stuff.
Well,
right?
she was going to, except then she got that call where she had to go investigate if she was in a prison camp.
I have to go investigate if she's actually a Cardassian caught up in some tricky ass shit. I have to think at some point they had at least one successful hangout in there for this to all come to light that she actually doesn't like this stuff. Doing the millionth customer thing, it's cheeky and it's fun. Again, if I'm going to rewrite this thing and I'm Quark, I'm just going to have someone get their ass kicked and maybe die and create a reason for Odo to have to go in there and investigate. And hey, it was a Bajoran. Kira, you should come in here too.
Just create a criminal circumstance within one of his hollow suites in order to surreptitiously image Kira.
Just
okay.
Bring her in. Is it any more cockamamie than you're my millionth customer? I'm going to give away free booze and drinks and gambling credit. I think just having someone get jumped and saying, "Oh, I think it might be the circle back here again." Kira, can you please come and investigate her? Go, no, this has nothing to do with Frank Langala.
I mean, I think they're trying to be cartoonish and rather than too tragic about it, right? Like Quark retains a level of his protagonist energy because what he's doing is just basically antics and he's not endangering anybody.
Well, listen,
I think it's a smarter move.
When they reduce him to like hiding behind a plant, at least put him in the voyeur vent if he's going to be trying to like record with imaging.
No one knows about the voyeur vent. Yeah, that's the problem.
I refuse 150% to believe that Quark does not know about the voyeur vent.
That's true. If anyone should know about it, it's him.
I mean, again, it's
Nog and Jake.
Nog and Jake, and they're like, and Nog's a good boy who tells Quark about juicy opportunities. Quark knows about the voyeur vent. They're just making him into a fucking clown. They had to water him down because I think real Quark would have already had her on file for his own purposes.
He would have been able to he would have had it would have been like a character creator for his fuck puppets. Like, okay, which of these Starfleet officers would you like to have sex with today?
It's very BioWare. They give you a code at the end. Each character attribute has like B9, D6, G7, and he's just got a notebook full of how to recreate anybody on the station with the holodeck character creator. And he's like, oh, okay, well, here, give me a couple minutes. Let me type this thing up for you. There you go.
The hide behind a plant and do the imaging thing was probably the goofiest of the attempts. It was, the fun. We're gonna, I'm kind of being this weird peeping Tom, comedic personality thing, but I do like that it escalated from there to, all right, I'm going to hack the entire Bajoran database to download everything that there is in her personnel file so that I could just recreate her through secondary information instead. It's like, I'm going to go from trying to take a picture of you on the promenade to committing felonies.
I do like that Odo's oracular ability to spot Quark does lend credence, I think, to Odo is not just looking through his eyeballs. Because that was a hell of a spot.
It
They're
was.
out on the promenade and he's up on the second floor of the bar hiding behind shit. Again, more of this like the subject is in the background and there's going to be a bunch of out of focus stuff in the foreground. Yeah, so then I'm just going to image you off of your file. I don't buy this one either. I don't see Odo being better at computers than Quark. And I don't see the Bajoran database being especially secure. Based on everything we've seen out of the provisional government and all of their clown shoe antics, if you can't come up with enough blankets for your children, I refuse to believe that you've got a good enough security package on your personnel files that
I think Quark has just committed so many cybercrimes from that one terminal that just Odo has it bugged. You know, like all he does is commit cybercrimes from that terminal, like constantly. And at a certain point, you're like, I'm just going to keep an eye on when you decide to go do that.
which we know he's got a spy cam on there, right?
Yeah, and he's willing to just completely violate people's right to privacy. He doesn't believe in it, so of course.
And shame on Quark for doing all this at what is essentially a publicly viewable workstation.
Yeah. He needs to get like a VPN or something, man. Like
he just needs to discover a back room somewhere and start doing his dirty there.
The miss on the B plot is that it should have been Odo in there, shapeshifted as Kira's body with Quark's head.
I didn't understand that at all. So
if you could involve him in the plot, why not use the whole shapeshifter thing?
So Jeff Combs is like, get this fucking thing done, and Quark's like, okay, he threw enough money at me, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna begin this cockamamie process of trying to get her file. They get tipped off, and then Kira's like, oh, I've got a plan for him. And I'm like, oh, they're gonna beat his fucking ass. They're really gonna do something bad to Quark now, right? Like, this is personally offensive to both of these because Odo's absolutely ready to white knight for Kira Nerys, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And then Kira Nerys, the famed terrorist and child killer, who already doesn't like Quark most of the time, like, they're going to rip one of his ears off. No, they spiked the program somehow. So when Jeff Combs, who I thought it was cool, he divulged, he's like, oh, if this thing's good enough, I'll buy the program off you for my own personal holosuite at home. And this is like jaw-dropping on Quark here, that this guy
that someone owns a holosuite on their own in their home,
and he knows this guy's rich as fuck too. So like, even knowing this guy's as rich as he is, the idea of him owning the holosuite, like, Quark had to presumably go into some big debt to get holosuites. I'm assuming he brought the holosuites to Tarek Nor, right? That the prison camp wasn't built with those things already.
One presumes, yes.
Oh, okay, you're gonna buy this thing. Great. Big business opportunity here. And he goes in and it's like, again, 80s silk stocking softcore porn setup here. And there's a pair of legs and he's like, oh boy, here we go. And it's like, okay, are they really going to show Nana Vista off like this? Very interesting. And then she raises her head and it's Quark's head. So
yeah, like, how is this a big own, right? Like, what it just didn't quite work, right? Like, I get the point is that you want this guy to go in there and be really offended by the experience and ruin Quark's criminal reputation. Like, that's what you've decided to do. But like, you didn't get him hard enough. Like, you kind of had to get him hard enough.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if it's like, if this program would have like attacked him and assaulted him and like bent him over, and it would have been like a bad sexy program.
Or just like, he starts to get all romantic. He's like, yes. And she's like, yes. And then suddenly like the head transforms into Quark and it's still the same sex. And it just like ruins his boner. Like that could have worked. And if you're going to use the holosuite program alteration path, or you could have had Odo in there, and then like the moment he starts to try and become physically intimate, he's like, all right, now I'm arrested. I was like, turns into Odo. I was like, I'm arresting you.
Surprise, this is a crime.
Yeah, surprise, vice cops.
My sense of justice has been offended. You're going in jail.
Yeah, and instead they have this weird, it's Quark. All right, I'm mad. I'm leaving. and then Odo and Kira come in and be like, haha. It's it's a fun plot, and then it just kind of ends in a very awkward fashion.
Again, without really explaining, because you've got a terrorist who is not a computer lady, and then you've got Goo Guy, who's not really a computer guy, but they're coding a holodeck program that, you know, we've found out from Tom Paris, which is, you know, albeit later, not the easiest thing in the world to do. And also, they just have holo scans for Quark, like this thing that he was really jumping through hoops to try to get on Kira. They're able to just summon up, like, oh, the whole point of this B plot is that it's difficult to get these files on people to create these, and they just did what he was trying to do, and nothing violent and terrible happened, which is absolutely Kieran Reese's MO. So
it's like, no one died, no one was blown up,
no one was threatened to be killed. It just we ran a little spoof on this guy. He came in, was not interested in fucking Kira with Quark's head, and he leaves and tells Quark that I don't want to do business with you anymore. Because
that's it.
Very obviously someone fucked with this program.
All right, to the A plot. We gotta talk about the A plot. Is there anything in the A plot worth talking about?
So there's kind of like
it's a bog standard Troi episode except with Jadzia.
Again, I'm gonna look at this thing. The donut planet plot. That was a Voyager one, right? That's correct. The planet that's going super fast, and they're able to observe this thing and hyper science and all this other stuff. Again, I think there's an interesting story to tell here as a time capsule to this part of the Gamma Quadrant, which they do not touch on at all.
Nope.
Jadzia Dax, who is down to fuck, playing incredibly coy at first, didn't work for me. Like, again, there's that Troi and or Crusher chastity that Dax just does not
have. Just does not have. Is not part of her personality.
I think this story doesn't work for any of these characters, because I would say maybe you could put Bashir in there because he's a little bit more coy, but who is going to be willing to walk away from DS9 on the precipice of a great conflict if someone ultimately was, I don't want to say cowardly, but not interested in war? This would have been a great opener to being like, listen, man, I don't feel good about this. I don't want to be on Deep Space Nine. It's not because I hate you guys. It's because I don't have a stomach for war. And this is a great way out. Like, she throws like, leaving Deep Space Nine is the hardest thing I've ever had to do. I don't buy that.
No, I don't buy that either. No, like, you might want to say that the scene that she has with Cisco and they're emotional, or like Bashir, like him, her quietly saying goodbye to him. Like, you want to like that stuff because the actors are putting in the effort to try and bring some emotion to the screen. But I cannot accept the premise, that Jadzia would actually leave. Like, that just does not make sense to me, and why everyone would just accept that as something that could just happen.
Nobody scans her to see if she's under alien influence.
And no one says, like, Jadzia, actually, we really do need you. Like, you can't leave. We need you. No one resists her desires. Like, it's fun at first because, like, clearly Cisco sees that Jadzia is looking to bang this guy, and he's just kind of like smiling in the background, like, that's my Dax. Like, Dax is romantic. And then it just hard pivots into this idea that she's going to stay. And there's just nothing that makes that make sense either for Jadzia, for Cisco, to just be incredibly permissive of it. It's terrible. Everyone's like, all right, well, we'll see you, and we're all old people, I guess. Bye, Jadzia. This is terrible. Like, no, you've not bridged this gap sufficiently. There's not enough rationale for this to be happening.
I don't expect Jadzia
would even do it.
I'm probably going to die in the fucking Dominion War, so it's been nice knowing you, I guess, because this is going to be goodbye forever. I'm either not going to be old enough, like too old to survive that long, or just flat out die in the coming bloodshed.
Yeah. It just, the premise of this is so misplaced, and
unfeasible.
Nothing is done to make it make sense as to why Jadzia would stay, and everyone would just be cool with that.
Like, hey, there's a part. Is this a Jadzia episode? Can we
No, it's
count
not.
it
It's a
as that?
Troi episode. That's my point. Is like, no, I'm serious. Like this just feels like they wrote this as a TNG script and retrofit it into Deep Space Nine. And maybe they wrote it specifically for Deep Space Nine, but their headspace was in TNG. And the writer of this, who said like of the things I've made, this is the my least favorite. You know, she got her start doing TNG stuff.
Which TNG episodes?
The Loss, Hero Worship, and Dark Page. So the
Hero
Lost,
Worship's the one where the kid's mom dies and he lives with Data and starts acting like Data, I think.
correct. The Loss is Counselor Troi loses her empathic abilities. The Enterprise is slowly pulled off course by an unknown force existing in two-dimensional form.
Yeah, the discs.
And Dark Page was a Troi Loxana episode from season 7. So there you have it. This is a Troi episode. This is a fucking Troi episode where they put Jedzia in there instead.
And Troi can fall in love easy because, like, oh, my
She's
empathic
empathetic.
empathetic,
Yep.
like, I feel like I've known you forever, and this is great. Like,
That's even
the
a line.
Jadzia key
That's
is
a
like,
fucking line in this episode. I feel like
Yeah.
I've known you forever.
the Jadzia connection here is like, I just unlocked this murderer bonus character.
I have DLC now, yeah.
I am not feeling great, and I've got problems, and you calm it all. You make that voice silence, and I feel I need some sort of doubt from the rest of the crew that she is being manipulated. I need Cisco to put his foot down and be like, this is not cool, dude. Like, I'm noticing a real desire for you to just go off and not be present. You left to go murder a man, the albino, who deeply deserved to be murdered, and then you didn't even murder him. You didn't have the agency to do that. This is the first time I think we can really say that she shows real agency in an episode. She helps solve the plot, and she makes the radical decision that I am going to give up my Starfleet posting and I'm going to stay here. And, there is the science angle of like, I'd kind of like to see what it's like to be incorporeal energy thought or whatever the fuck. Like maybe we can cure cancer with that or whatever.
Yeah. O'Brien's barely in it.
But
And
congratulations to him for being in an episode and not being gravely wounded and or abducted. I think what's happening here is that like Cisco's just like wiping his brow like, thank God it's not O'Brien saying he's the one who wants to stay behind to get away from his fucking marriage, because I don't know how to explain this one to Kiko. Your husband, I got bad news. Your husband, he is not coming home. He's not dead, and I don't think he's being hurt, but he's gone. He will be back in 60 years. You got your mom reached 100, so I think you got a good shot at this. Being around for him. And yeah, he is. Tell Molly he doesn't have a dad anymore. Her dad is now incorporeal. I think he's actually trying to essentially pull a Interstellar.
yeah,
Right? That
yeah.
was yeah.
How to escape one's family, fall in love with a weird alien lady, and then
He's
wrap
in
yourself.
the Tesseract right now.
Yeah.
So
Sorry. Yeah, whatever. I don't really have much left to say here.
Again, the answer is everybody just comes up to the Defiant and we leave this fucking place, because it's not just you're gone for 60. It's after this quantum leap, you're going to be gone forever. Your matrix has destabilized, this goofy thing with the fucking sun eating your planet. You are all going to die if we can't fix this problem. You are never supposed to be here. Everybody wants more life, by the way.
Yeah,
no one's
they want to stay in the real world.
Just fucking leave.
Yeah, go to the Alpha Quadrant.
What kind of Maquis unreasonable attachment to this planet is keeping you guys here? Also, hey, by the way, even if I hate this episode. This episode fucking sucks. Even if we can save you guys and stop what's happening and just stabilize you, you will be conquered by the Dominion. 100%.
Yeah, they're going to find you if you're here long enough.
And maybe if we fucking stabilize this planet, they're going to be coming here and do science, and they're going to be able to make interphasic cloaking where they can now pass through walls or what. This is a real fucking problem here. Get on my ship. We are not fixing the dilemma. We are going to let your planet blink out of existence forever because it's a unstable, dangerous technology in my enemy's backyard. And also, you guys are going to be conquered and bad shit's going to happen. Just get on the fucking ship. We're going home. And you guys can be, here's your space mark, Jadzia. Congratulations.
So I'm not going to have you look anything up for the next episode, as we talked about. I don't want you to know anything. I don't want you to see anything to the extent possible. I'm only going to say that the next episode that we're going to watch is season 3, episode 9, Defiant. It's written by Ron Moore and it's directed by Cliff Bowl. That's it. That's what we're going to do.
Back to the Constitution and the Mirror Universe. That'd be happy.
I'm going to say nothing, Peter, because a lot of people have been waiting for you to watch this episode amongst our fandom.
All right.
Of the no Peter allowed contingent, this is the most hype they've been. So to spare you as much as possible, we're going to leave it at that, and we're going to watch it next week. What do you say?
I like it.
Sweet. All right, everybody, strap yourself in. Everybody else knows what this is about. We'll see you then.